Face front, true believers, this is Modular Media's No Prize Podcast. I am your host, Chris, Boingo Writer Gaston, and with me in this endeavor is, of course, my partner in this podcast.
Representing the distinguished competition, the Vacuuminator is here.
Yo, and we also have a third guest, but they don't have a video camera, so they're not able to see it, but we have a little PNG logo of their personhood. So, say hello.
Hi, it's me from the imaginative competition.
Yo,
Corp.
Yo, we got some actual chatters in this podcast. What the fuck?
It's almost like people actually like the MCU and are interested in the MCU on this channel, unlike wrestling. Nobody listens to our wrestling podcast. Go listen to our wrestling podcast. Especially next week, we're going to be talking about the fact that CM motherfucking Punk came back to wrestling last night, and I'm still riding that high.
I was crying legit tears. So, goddamn.
Oh my god. But yeah, everybody go check out MMWP after you're done enjoying this live broadcast of No Prize Podcast.
Or no oncast if the thumbnail's an indication.
Hey, don't complain because I like making thumbnails like that because it looks dynamic.
I like that. It's good. It's nice. I just like making fun of it.
But we have oh, dude, CM Punk's back. Aki, if CM Punk's back,
Aki,
if that would get you into wrestling, CM Punk is back.
It's safe again. You won't get hurt again. I promise.
But we had some technical difficulties last week, which meant no regularly traditional No Prize podcast due to...
You can say I overstuffed the schedule. I overstuffed your production schedule.
Yeah, because here's the thing, you didn't mean to do it. It was accidental on your part.
Mm-hmm.
But I was editing Vac's latest video, which, by the way, you should all go watch after the wrap-up of this podcast.
It's a long treatise on the modern state of toy packaging, because everybody cares about that.
You cared about it, and that's good enough.
Yeah.
But we decided that, you know what would be fun? Trying to eliminate some busy work, because we take all these podcasts, we edit them, and then we post them on here, and it was like, why don't we just cut out the middleman? Why don't we just do it live? Why don't we just embrace that kind of thing, use the format we've been using for MMWP, which the reason why it's live was the same reason. We just got burnt out trying to edit it, but if we do it like this, it's a lot less work.
Yeah. And I mean, you have a computer that's capable of doing semi-good-looking live broadcasts, whereas I have like an 8-year-old piece of shit that can barely export videos anymore. So
that's still running Windows 7.
Backhanded compliment.
But
I mean, it's better than what I got. So
yeah. I mean, I can live stream and I can play games and I can do a bunch of shit. It's nice. But we decided to just start doing No Prize Live, so that's what we're going to be doing. So we're not skipping the first episode of What If. We have that recorded. It is not in the tin yet, but it's going to be edited and uploaded on Monday.
So you'll still get No Prize on Monday this week, but not going forward. It's going to move to Saturdays for the live show.
And it's the same exact show. We're going to be talking about the latest MCU product or animated adaptation or whatever, just unified topic. Then we're going to go into some toy news, merchandise news, interesting things in that nature, and then we're going to talk about the comics we read in the week. All three of us, if Buster's here. Just whatever we read. That's the format for the podcast.
Thank you. Represent.
Windows 7 supremacy.
Yeah.
And then when the 11's coming out December.
Oh no.
I mean, let's face it. Windows went to shit with 8.
I mean,
Windows 10 ain't that bad.
It's functional.
Yeah, but it's still never fully recovered.
Okay, fair.
But so we're talking about Better Steve the episode.
You mean Cooler Daniel?
Yes.
Is that the meme you were going for?
No, I was just saying Better Steve because it sounded funny. But yeah, Cooler Daniel. This is what if T'Challa became Star-Lord. This is a very out there style.
I saw some people complaining about this one right out the gate because, Star-Lord is what Peter Quill's mom called him when he was little, so T'Challa wouldn't have come up with that name. And it's like, shut up, it's comic books.
And even then, Star-Lord in the comics is also a title given by Spartax.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love this episode. I thought it was really fun. The end, like we'll talk about the ending, but the ending scared me. But
it was a lot of fun. I have one little nitpick with it, but it didn't ruin the episode for me.
No, it is the exact opposite of like a very traditional what if where everybody dies at the end. This is like everybody's happy.
Well, I mean, the ending implies everyone dies at the end,
but that's a story for another time, as the Watcher says.
And nothing says that they couldn't stop it, you know?
Yeah, good point. I mean, if everything else works so well, why couldn't they? Can we just talk about the end since we're talking?
I mean, when shit starts going down in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, we don't see how Wakanda reacts to it.
Very much so. But no, the premise of this episode, T'Challa becoming Star-Lord, is basically T'Challa has such a good head on his shoulders that he wouldn't fuck up all the ways Peter Quill does.
No, he's just the biggest Chad in this episode, going around fixing every problem in the galaxy before it becomes a problem.
You could say he's Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. His final performance, man.
Well, he actually has a couple other performances, like in later What If, but like he'll show up as, I'm pretty sure, minor roles, but this is like I think his last role as a starring.
His last role as T'Challa.
Yeah, I mean he'll still show up as T'Challa, but like not like as, because they said he's gonna appear in other episodes, like.
Yeah, but like this is that kind of thing.
Other alternate versions, yeah, but like. That also gets into my one nitpick there. Is it just me, or did Chadwick Boseman and Josh Brolin sound like... Were they the only two people who sounded like they knew how to voice act? Everybody else sounded like they were just doing a stage play at best.
Yeah, but it kind of helps with the kind of cheesy Flash Gordon kind of vibe this episode was giving off.
Yeah.
It wasn't horrible.
Actually, I wasn't sure. Did Nebula's actress come back for this episode? Or?
Oh yeah, that was definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think pretty much everybody came back. Maybe Taserface didn't.
Yeah. No. Drax, we don't know, didn't.
Oh yeah, Drax was definitely a different guy.
Probably Fred Tatasciore. He's like the go-to if Marvel needs like a buff animated voice.
Yeah. But Batista's up somewhere else, hiding the size of his dick. That's a wrestling in joke that's on the internet.
And I mean, I used a GIF of him to advertise the show tonight for a reason.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, you think I'm just being dumb, but I got the strats, boy.
Oh, you got the strats? You got the game facts?
I do. I have the game facts, and I have several game theories.
Oh no! Just don't give Undertale to the Pope. That's all we can ask.
Oh yeah, definitely. I wouldn't do that. I probably wouldn't.
No, you need to give Final Fantasy VII.
What's Undertale again?
Sans. That's all I have to say. Sans.
Oh, Sans Undertale. Yeah, I know that guy. Kenny Omega dressed as him once. So, how do y'all feel about Thanos in this episode?
I fucking love Thanos.
Okay, well, for one, like, Josh Brolin clearly has, like, voice acting experience because, well, one, he's a motion capture character, so I assume he knows how to, like, emote with, like, mostly his voice. And, two, I just like, everyone's complaining about, oh, you can't just convince, like, again, it's a what if, like, it's a mainly what if, like, to show, so it's like, yeah, it's not as logical as it could have been, but it's still, like, crazy, like, comic, like, stuff you can do, and it's still a fun idea, and I think they show he still has a few screws loose.
It's also just, like, a wonderful response to all that internet criticism of, like, okay, fine. Here's what it would look like if we proposed these ideas to Thanos.
By a guy who's charismatic enough to get the ideas across. Like, I don't think that would work if Peter Quill said, like, all those things.
Yeah, or Tony Stark.
No, it had to be T'Challa, because T'Challa, that's kind of what... Oh my god, this episode's monarchy propaganda.
What?
Here we go. Some Boingo Core is about to happen live, folks.
Because the whole thrust of this episode, the whole thrust of like, oh man, isn't T'Challa Star-Lord cool, is that he's really a good, competent leader, and that he's really confident and he can get everything done and all that kind of stuff, because he's a fucking king. He's king of Wakanda, like, he's the prince of Wakanda. That he is, like...
He was raised and trained for that shit.
But yeah, but he, like, it's that kind of monarchy of, like, yeah, of course if you raise a person to be a leader, they're going to be a good leader. Like, that's monarchy, that's monarchist propaganda.
Mm-hmm. I also just love how, like, even though technically he was kidnapped, he's still real tight with Yondu. Him and Yondu are still buds. Like, that stays consistent between universes, and I love just the little bit where, like, they're trying to explain to Chaka what happened, and he's just like, Yondu found me and saved me. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Like, it's fucking Batman explaining Alfred to Flashpoint Batman.
No, a lot of things were just kind of fun. A lot of things were kind of neat. I liked how they were sending out Wakanda ships into space to find him.
Yeah, that's cute. And about, like, the Collector, he's like the main antagonist of this episode. He got buff.
Buff collector supremacy.
God damn, Benicio del Toro, get buff, please. I need buff Benicio del Toro.
Did. That was him voicing the Collector, man.
Oh, wow. Like, I wouldn't doubt it, because that was such a specific cadence, you know?
Yeah. My, though I do feel like, just to grind everything to a halt for a second, I have to contract. It's contractually obligated that I say, or rather that I clarify. No, I don't simp for this version of Nebula just because she has blonde hair.
Doing the anti-simping. Everyone's so mad she has blonde hair.
I mean, it makes more sense.
You think? Because is it Kieran Gillen who plays her? Yes. Or is that a comic writer I'm thinking
No, it's Kieran. It's the girl from Doctor Who.
Let me look.
Yeah, Kieran Gillen. Amy Pond. She's naturally redheaded, so I think that's why everybody was upset. Like, oh, why wouldn't she just have the actress's red hair? Because they wanted to do blonde. Shut up.
Yeah, you want to know why they wanted to do blonde? Because this was a neo-noir heist film.
Mm-hmm.
Actually makes a lot.
And she looks like the blonde femme fatale damsel in distress of like, oh, hey, big guy.
She had a stupid nickname for him.
God
like
damn,
makes no sense in this. Makes no sense in this in like the cosmic Marvel context. But because of the style of the episode, I was fine with.
His name's T'Challa. It's a cutesy version of this. What? Ta-cha? La la? Ooh la la?
I don't know. People... Shut up.
Chat, you agree with me, right? This is not how a normal person acts when you criticize something in a show they like, right? Like, this is just Boingo. This is just how he acts, because I can do this now.
Buddy, boy.
Oh my god. No, episode was good. I liked it.
Kraglin was cool. I love seeing Kraglin.
Oh yeah, the animation was like I feel like was improved because like it felt like last episode it felt too fast, but like okay, that was just that episode. They were clearly just getting the reins with that. Now it's like there's a bit more weight to it, a bit more quote unquote realistic movement. I
think part of the first one is like they were trying to keep the pace up super hard because they wanted to be a rip-roaring 1940s adventure. You know, this is just like
we're condensing this specific movie down. Whereas this is just a story featuring these alternate versions of these characters.
Which I assume is going to be like the two kinds of what if episodes, where it's like a what if so minor the movie still keeps going, like, or not minor, but like still major enough to warrant an episode, but minor enough where the plot of the movie could keep going? Or what if so major it would completely change like the entire plot of the movie?
Yeah. Aki's saying the pacing doesn't make sense. It's fine for like a quick little short, like that's how what ifs are paced in the comics, you know. Other than the current what if runs with that Chip Zdarsky's headlining.
Yeah, like literally up until this year, this has been how what ifs have always been done. It's just like a quick little snippet fest.
Like they were like,
to be clear, Aki's referring to like other critics about the episode. So
yeah,
oh, okay.
And yeah, I agree with the voice acting being off. Like I said, Chadwick Boseman and Josh Brolin were the only two who sounded like they actually knew how to do voice acting.
Oh, they were making a meme. Other critics, pacing doesn't make sense, voice acting's off. Modular media critics, monarchy propaganda, nickname doesn't make sense, Blonde Nebula. Look, we will focus on the real important issues here. We focus on the real important issues of fuck kings and queens.
Yeah.
The thing is, other critics are filthy casuals. Here, you come to hear what the fucking nerds think, alright? This podcast would not exist if it wasn't for the fact that the man to my left is fucking obsessed with Marvel Cosmic stuff.
I mean, if you look at... I only got 2 Marvel books right here, right now. I got Excalibur and Spider-Man, so...
Well, don't worry, I'll send you more.
Excalibur can get fucking weird. Remember, it has Captain Britain.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Is that Captain Carter for every other Twitter user?
Oh my god.
It is the biggest complaint I can understand a normie having, but it has the most easy fucking explanation that takes 10 minutes to fucking explain.
It's literally just a Wikipedia link away.
Yeah. We have Google, for God's sake.
Yep. Though
yeah, pop
Brian's
in your
now,
Google machine, kids.
Brian's now Captain Avalon, so.
Yeah. Yeah, can we talk about the ending? Because that just blew my mind.
I feel really bad for Peter. I feel really bad for Peter Quill that he was never able to overcome his problems, and now he's just working a dead-end job in a Dairy Queen.
I wish it was Baskin Robbins, so they can just so like.
And more Ant-Man's just there too.
Just so I can have a headcanon of Scott is this.
Oh yeah, Annihilation, fucking fantastic. The current Annihilation's okay. The current Annihilation story they're doing in Guardians. Annihilation is a Marvel story where basically Annihilus comes into the regular universe and goes like, all right, I'm destroying everything. Here's my bugs. And every other cosmic character goes like, fuck? And tries to work together to basically stop him.
It's like a cosmic hurricane that you can punch.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds sick. Maybe I'll read it.
That's when they first brought Star-Lord into the Marvel continuity. Because before that, he was just a comic they published. It wasn't in main continuity.
Maybe I'll look into that. The ending, it's like where Ego shows up. And he'd just be like, hi, Peter, want to do some bonding? And his eyes glow up, and it's like, this isn't. And then the Watcher's like, well, maybe not everything's great. And just like, that just broke me, man.
Yeah, because that's what if, man. Here's a fun story with an O. Henry ending.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's wholesome Twilight Zone is what it is.
To an extent. Some of them can be wholesome. Some of it's just like, oh, this is just depressing Twilight Zone.
Yeah, what if Punisher became Captain America?
Or what if Spider-Man became Punisher?
Ooh, that sounds rough, buddy.
But then there's other ones like technically Marvel Zombies is a what if.
Oh yeah,
technically, but that also became its own subline, and it's tagged it, and it's tied into Ultimate. So no,
it's a what if from the Ultimates verse. It also just printed money for them, so they just kept doing it.
Apparently, they're doing a Marvel Zombies episode in this show.
They're doing a Zombies episode. They're not doing a Marvel Zombies episode.
Marvel zombies are Marvel zombies are like their own kind of zombies.
Yeah. Because Marvel zombies are completely aware that they're zombies now. They're awake, they are conscious. It's just like they can talk, they can have conversations. They remember being heroes, but they have an unending need to eat flesh.
Because I forget which one it's from, because I have actually read a lot of Marvel Zombies, but there's a Marvel Zombies book where they trick Galactus into coming to Earth, and they eat him, and there's just a scene of Iron Man, Hulk, Black Panther, and I think one other character just sitting around
Power Man.
eating... Power Man, yeah, they're just sitting around in the ruins of New York, eating Galactus, talking about how delicious Galactus is, and also how much it sucks to be a zombie.
Yep. There's also 16, the Neil Gaiman story, the 16-1 where it's in the 1600s.
1675?
1675, yeah, that's a what if, technically.
Okay. Well, all right, we've gotten pretty far off topic. Do we want to go ahead and start moving into the news?
I just all the other side characters I really loved. I love seeing the one dude from Guardians of the Galaxy 1 just freaking out and being a fanboy over T'Challa.
Yeah,
I just realized, did we ever find out what... Because I know we don't see anything about Rocket and Groot. Do we ever find out what happens to Gamora in this universe?
That seems like an oversight.
Yeah, no, I didn't see Gamora. We didn't see Gamora. We didn't see Rocket or Groot. Because here's the thing. Rocket and Groot were... Oh, no, they weren't in the prison. The Drax was the only one that was already in the prison.
No, Drax wasn't in the prison. He was a bartender.
No. In the original Guardians of the Galaxy. Because I'm using that to think about, like, okay, where would they be in relation to the what
if we're going by those rules, in the movie, they just show up as bounty hunters who are going after Peter, I think.
Yeah, so they're just bounty hunting. They're just out in the world. I think at most, Gamora might just not have the unending hate boner for Thanos. It's just like, okay, he was an abusive dickhole dad, and I'm just gonna not have him in my life.
Yeah.
Rocket and Groot don't give a fuck. They will never meet T'Challa.
In this universe, she's the lesbian aunt that never goes to family gatherings.
Yeah. Even though she's invited and everybody would be fine with her, it's just more of like, I don't want to be there. Fuck it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about how everything is terrible forever now.
Okay, in news, it's not sad news. It's not good news. It's news.
It's news.
Tough facts of life. News.
Jonathan Hickman is stepping away from the X-Men after Inferno, which is the upcoming event after all the Trials of X-Men, Trials of Magneto stuff.
Trial of Magneto is supposed to lead into Inferno.
Yes. And he's basically was saying, hey, I made a team of writers that we all worked and built up this new status quo for X-Men. And it was supposed to be a 3-act structure. It was supposed to lead into something specific. It was supposed to have a very definitive end. But all the other writers are having too much fun and wanting to explore the space. They want to play in this status quo some more. So I am stepping away so they can engage in that. And when the stars align and everything works out, I can come back and finish the story.
Like, he's setting up Act 2, the end of Act 2 right now, and he's ready to start on Act 3, and everybody else is going, dude, we're having fun with Act 1, where are you going? Yeah. And so he's like, oh, why don't I just go over here till y'all are ready to do Act 3?
And he's not leaving Marvel. He's still writing stuff for Marvel. He's still doing things there. So it's not complete.
But what things?
It's not like
no confirmed
It's not
stuff.
like I'm finally getting him. It's not like I'm finally getting my reason to get interested in Legion of Superheroes.
No. because he's still working with Marvel. He's working on another project for them, so it's probably something that he wants to kind of reinvent or kind of really work on. So who knows what that could be in Marvel.
What hasn't he done that also isn't in the middle of a huge renaissance right now?
The only thing I could say is Avengers, but they're really they're just keep.
No, he did Avengers. He did an Avengers run.
He could do another Avengers run.
That's true.
And besides, that Avengers run was more Fantastic Four the sequel.
Wait, that comes after his FF run?
Yeah, his FF run,
Avengers
run, and then Secret Wars, because FF was setting up Doom and Franklin and all that kind of stuff. Avengers set up Secret Wars and the conversions, and then Secret Wars happened.
I'm gonna make a adjustment to my to read list real quick.
So like when I see like Inferno and these like things about our leaders, our enemies can't be trusted. Like I thought that was Act 3. I thought okay, that's the end of his story he wants to tell. But like now you're saying he's just like.
I think that's the thing that leads into the major focus of Act 2, because to kind of briefly go over what we think Inferno is. There's been no giant confirmation or story, some not-subs or anything. The main idea I think the fans have about Inferno is its Mystique trying to burn down Krakoa figuratively, if not literally, because they will not bring her wife back, Destiny, who is a precog. And there are no precogs on Krakoa, because if there was a precog on Krakoa, they could see the future and see the plan. And they're trying to keep the plan under wraps.
Also, once somebody sees the future, it's set in stone, and they can't do something to try and fix it. Because the problem the X-Men are currently facing is there's a character whose power is reincarnation and has lived through the X-Men timeline a shit ton of times and goes, we always inevitably lose because X, Y, or Z comes to pass. We need to do everything in our power to stop X, Y, or Z from coming to pass.
Mm-hmm. I will say this. I am going to keep up with X-Men. I have been enjoying what the individual writers have been putting down on paper. I am going to be sad that Hickman isn't kind of like leading the ship, so to speak. But, the current X book is good. X-Force, for all of its faults, I've been enjoying it. New Mutants, Way of X, X-Corp, all that kind of stuff. I've been enjoying it. Marauders.
Well, here's the thing, because I'm about 4 or 5 months behind, and I would say from my perspective, I am worried about this, but I'm not worried about it in a because we do this with everything now in our conversations. To put it in wrestling terms, it's not like Cody Rhodes is going back to WWE. It's like Tony Khan is saying, I'm going to step away from AEW to focus on the Jags for a while. And I'm like, okay, I understand, but also you're the glue holding everything together. So even though I like books that aren't written by you more than I like a lot of the books you are writing, I'm still pretty worried.
True. We just have to wait and see. I don't think the people he's got on the people he kind of handpicked to play on these books aren't going to be ones to really try and break away and disrupt things, so to speak.
Yeah, and he has also sort of handpicked the new books they're about to rotate in. That's another thing to remember. They've been making subtle adjustments to the lineup for the last few months, and those adjustments are still coming in some senses. Like Ecstatics. There's supposed to be a new Ecstatics book starting later this year.
Yep. But there's also another aspect to all of this news that kind of also frames it in a different light. That there is a new, well, that's not a new service. There is a service that a lot of comic book creators are flocking to, or joining up with, that is a little weird and hard to explain, but we'll try our best, called Substack.
I've heard of this before. I'm like Googling it, and I'm like, oh, I've been to this site before. I have no idea why, but like...
Substack is only fans for newsletters.
So just a regular, so a Patreon.
It's like Patreon, it's very specifically about newsletters. It's very much about like it's paying for a blog.
And the thing is, Substack, because of the pandemic, they've had a huge cash inflow of people starting newsletters and people getting interested in newsletters that never were before.
And because of that new user base, they also have new investors investing money into them.
And they're going, all right, what do we do with this money? Oh, comic books are a dying industry. Let's see what meat we can pick off of those bones. So a bunch of big name and like minor name right now comic creators, Scott Snyder, Chip Zdarsky, James Tynion IV, or
Nick Spencer.
Yeah. Hickman to an extent.
Jerry Duggan is also, and Teeny Howard?
Yeah.
Are also working on...
They're all going, we are signing these contracts with Substack that basically mean we will be doing original works through this, and you will be getting updates through them. And if you subscribe at a certain tier of our newsletter, you will get copies of these comics sent directly to you. Not physical copies, PDFs. But the whole thing is a little bit concerning because all of these guys, and I think there's also a gal in the mix.
There's some gals.
All of them are pulling away from social media in this. They're all basically going, all right, so all of us have had free newsletters forever, and we've all also been on social media forever. We're not deleting our social media accounts, but we're shutting down our free newsletters, and we're not getting on social media a whole bunch. And Chip Zdarsky specifically has said he's not going to cons anymore. So if you want to get information about what he's doing, about what any of these people are doing, but specifically with Chip Zdarsky, if you ever want him to sign a physical comic book again, you have to subscribe to his newsletter, and he will give you an address to send the comic to get it signed.
Yeah, Benaki has been talking about, Nick Spencer's a major part of it, because Nick Spencer has basically been the liaison between Substack and comic book creators. They talk to him first and say, like, hey, do you want to help talk to these creators and bring them on? There's good in this. The comic book creators that are working on these projects are getting paid.
And it's not like they're all pulling away from Marvel and DC. James Tynion is. I know he's been on Batman, and he said he had a big fucking plan for Batman, and apparently he's just throwing that in the trash because he's off Batman now. His last issue comes out in a couple months. And but some of them are still keeping up projects with Marvel and DC, but they're also going to be really pushing these original works. And the big thing, I think, in a positive light, is all these creators who, for the most part, I do like. There's one or two that's like I haven't read enough of their work to like them, but for the most part, these are people I like, are getting a big fat fucking paycheck. So you know what? Good for them. But it sucks for comic book fans because it's not like the Substack comic book creator newsletter is a thing now. There's like 8 different comic book creator newsletters, all with their different tiers that you can subscribe to. So, I'm sorry, but I feel very much the same way as Sal from Comic Pop here. It's nickeling and diming us.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of little bullshit subscription services that basically, because, hey, I read all comics with an eye patch on, if you understand that reference. If I were buying comics week to week, I'd have to give up like 2 books per creator in order to keep up with all of these.
And that's not even to say specifically that you are getting books when you sign up for their Substack. Scott Snyder specifically, he already signed a deal with Comixology. His books are being published there. If you're signing up for Scott Snyder, you are just getting a newsletter and a preview. You are not getting any books.
Which is ridiculous, honestly.
Looking into
it legally, but it's a fucking chip of a deal.
Looking into the Substack thing, I think I think there's a free option.
There's some free options.
They're not gonna take it. I know that nobody's gonna take that because they want money. But it actually looks like a nice, because I've heard some other creators, both on YouTube and just writers in general, are using it. Maybe I'll look into it.
I'm not saying it's not a 100% negative. It is just there's a lot of pros and cons of this whole situation.
It's a sticky, shitty situation.
Yeah.
And to put a bit of a positive end note on it, Chip Zdarsky, even though he is doing the "you gotta mail me" comics to get them signed now thing, which I think is pretty stupid, honestly.
Yeah.
And I don't expect it to keep up forever.
I have the feeling the second everybody feels 100% confident and safe to go out in public is the moment Chip Zdarsky rescinds his no cons.
Yeah. But then the other thing is he's also said for the first year of his Substack, any money he makes that he doesn't need just to support his family, that doesn't just make the Substack a sustainable thing for him, any extra money on top, he's donating to charity.
Apparently, Aki also some information. Scott Snyder is doing Substack to just act as Patreon for his writing class, not for his comics. True.
Yeah, because I want to learn how to write from Scott Snyder.
You learn to write one story, and that's it.
Yeah. Man, remember when Scott Snyder first got on Batman and he said he didn't want to do any Joker stories?
Oof. Top 10 moments before disaster.
But Chip Zdarsky's still writing for a bunch of for some Marvel stuff. I'm pretty sure he's writing the next Hulk run.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which I read a preview on Free Comic Book Day. It's fucking cool.
Wait, I thought that was Donny Cates.
No, that was Donny Cates. They may be working together. It was Cates, but if that's where the next run's going to be... No, it was Donny Cates. Donny Cates is doing Hulk. What's Chip Zdarsky doing? No idea. He's stepping off a Daredevil. He's finishing up his run there.
Yeah, well, his run at least feels like it's building to a satisfying conclusion. Tinian was like, I have a fucking 5-year plan for Detective Comics. Year and a half later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that just all comic stuff? I have a 5-year plan. Only goes for 2 years.
Hickman has a better track record.
Yeah, Hickman's the master planner. He's the true Chad Lee tactician of comics.
Ooh, Al Ewing on Venom. That's nice.
Yeah. They're doing. I think they're doing Al Ewing on Venom because Al Ewing's been doing cool stuff with cosmic stuff, and that's where Venom's kind of heading right now. It's very cosmic.
Yeah, because didn't they introduce the god of symbiotes, multiple gods or something?
Yeah, it's Eddie Brock now.
Yeah, that whole run just wrapped up with Eddie Brock graduating from Venom to God of Symbiotes.
Yeah.
So is Venom just Kamen Rider Gaim, but with
Eddie Eddie can be.
Venom is fucking Kamen Rider Drive now, with Eddie as Mr. Belt and his son as Shinosuke.
Yeah. You know what would be really fucking cool to see? Donny Cates on fucking Ghost Rider.
Okay. I don't...
You can do a cosmic minion?
Yeah, but that's Frank Castle, that's Punisher.
Okay.
Here's the thing about Ghost Rider. I read I'll say Cosmic Ghost Rider, I do definitively like. I read the first couple issues of the first series of that. But as opposed to regular Ghost Rider, I'm just that is a cool character design that I know nothing about.
While I sit here and own the complete first run of the Midnight Suns.
Fucking nerd.
Yeah, boy.
Do you just want to go into Toy News while I just piss out?
Yeah, let's talk about... Are you actually pissing out, or
no,
are you
no? I'm just gonna I'll put my mic muted, get some water while you
take
guys,
a piss break.
All
right.
Okay, yeah. Let's talk about some Child's Play things because there were a good few McFarlane reveals this week from McFarlane Toys' DC Multiverse line. First off, we have more images of Lobo and Superboy Prime because the pre-orders for those went up. I think Lobo looks a little better now that we see more of him. Like, he's still not as chunky as I...
Give me half a second.
He's still not as chunky as I want him to be, but he's a pretty decent, like... If you're not going to do Lobo as a deluxe figure, I think this is as good as you could get as a regular Lobo. Also, I love that they kept the detailing on his jacket. Like, I didn't expect that.
It's taking me a second to load. Jesus.
Oh, wow. Superboy Prime looks all right, but I think the colors on him are maybe just a tad too bright. Like, those tubes look almost cartoonishly yellow. And that's about all I have to say on that.
Well, just give me a second while it finishes loading for me. Okay. That Lobo is what people in their head think of when they think of Lobo, but there's never been a Lobo design that looked exactly like that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where with this line, it's very much like Todd's vision of a character, except it's also a lot of very specific versions of Batman on top of that.
That'd be the Lobo you put in Injustice.
Yeah. But then we also have a couple of exclusives. I believe these are exclusives to... Is Walmart where the gold label line goes? I don't even remember at this point. But we have Azrael, which is a all-silver with just red on the bat symbol repaint of the White Knight Azrael. And the gold label... Energized, Unchained Armor Superman, which I fucking hate that design, honestly.
Well, I'm gonna try and load it up real quick, so just give me a moment, if you could please.
Yeah. Azrael does look okay, but, like, it honestly, it's one of those things where I just look at it and I go, that's Batman, that's the Silver Surfer cosplaying as Batman.
Oof. Big oofs. Big oofs all around on that there description. I don't know why DC has a lot of color labels. Buster?
They have it because shut up.
Oh, you mean that's like a Black Label?
Yeah, that's the best answer I've been given as a fan. We gotta call him something.
Yeah.
But getting away from DC toy news, we did get a bit of a tease for the next Mondo release in their 1/6 scale X-Men animated line. Looks like we're getting brown costume Wolverine.
The superior Wolverine costume.
Ooh, bit of a hot take there.
Jesus, this Azrael fucking loaded up. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, right.
That is some, like, mid-90s cover. That is legit, like... It's like this, you know? It'd be on this.
But all silver.
Yeah.
It's nasty.
It
don't
is
like it.
Alternate cover variant bullshit. And part of me loves it, part of me hates it.
It's part of what's keeping the line alive, is what I'll say. Is, like, all these, like, slight variations and weird repoints.
Repoints?
Repaints, god damn it.
No. You get to live with that mistake.
No, yeah, I do. We're live, pal.
The fuck is this Superman?
This is a slight artistic license on an armor he got at the end of Superman Unchained, which was the Superman mini Scott Snyder wrote about 6 months into the New 52 is when it started.
That looks like a fucking Guyver.
Yeah.
I like that. I actually like that design.
Buster, why do you have shit taste?
Look, you just put a Superman in an armor, and I'm like, I'm sold.
Superman... You're gonna fucking trigger me right now. Superman does not ever need to wear armor. Fuck No.
I know he doesn't. But I'm just saying, design-wise, it looks pretty sick.
Well, you know, it's okay to be wrong sometimes.
Yeah. Same to you.
Anyway, let's move on to some MCU toy news because after months and months and months of all through the pandemic, blurry ass images of these things leaking from like Target back rooms and shit, we finally have official reveals via Yahoo of all places.
Yahoo!
For the Hasbro Marvel Legends Eternals figures.
Oh yeah, Yahoo from the Inspector Gadget movie fame.
Yes. Yeah, these look very typical of MCU Marvel Legends, where it's a little off, clearly based on concept art. The face scans aren't as great as they could be, but overall, I'm just impressed with the fact that it looks like we're getting pretty much the entire cast right off the bat, which is it usually takes Marvel Legends like 3 or 4 years to do that.
Yeah.
I guess they just have a lot of faith in Eternals.
I think they have less faith because they're just going like, all right, we can just do one entire wave and waste it to get this out of the way for the people who will want it, and we don't have to worry about clogging shelves.
We're not going to have MCU collectors breathing down our necks for like 3 years asking for a Gilgamesh.
A mesh.
I mean, like, I'm not getting these because I don't collect MCU stuff. It's just not my thing. I think they clash weird with a lot of other stuff on my shelf. I do kinda slightly, if I can find it on sale, want Crow, though, because he's a deluxe figure divorced from the rest of the thing, and he just looks like a cool monster mash to have other figures fighting. Like, I could put him up against some Lightning Collection guys in figure photography.
Can we just real quick, because they released a new trailer for Eternals, I really like how they designed the Deviants. I just like the way the Deviants look.
I have no particular take on it either way, because I don't know a lot about Eternals going in. Like, I know literally, I know, what I know about Eternals is everything Tiffany from Comic Pop has said about it.
I mean, Thanos is an Eternal.
Yeah, there's that. So I look at the design of the Deviants and I'm like, yep, that looks like a monster mash.
I mean, that's what the Deviants are. They're just monsters.
I'm just looking for a good movie. That's all I want. I just want something that won't make me be like, wow, that was kind of like, I think of that worse in retrospect, like with Black Widow.
Icarus looks cool. I like Icarus.
Yeah, sure. Also, you dumb fucks, that Celestial in the trailer is not Galactus.
Yeah, I mean, I figured, but like...
Though, if you haven't already and you have at least any inclination to do so, back HasLab Galactus. We're now at less than 10 days, and I'm starting to get a little worried about him. Because...
Big collar.
The boy needs 14,000 backers, and we're currently sitting at 12,895 with 9 days, 0 hours, and 37 minutes to go.
Mm.
Holding out for a villain, a hero, I don't know. They're holding out for something.
For a cosmic entity that has no true allegiance to good or evil.
Galactus is beyond the concepts of good and evil, sir. And also, we've got a... it's like, I'm a little worried, but I'm not super worried because we are very close. And also, there's another Marvel Legends fan first Thursday, I think it is.
Oh my god, why is there more Marvel Legends fan blah blah blahs on Power Month?
Listen, we can complain about that on Monday, dude.
Okay, sure.
Here's the other thing, though.
Out of the way.
The other thing, though, Marvel Legends is a very bankable brand for them, and they also have to keep Disney happy with it. Like, they can sit on Power Rangers a little bit because they own it.
I guess, but they made a Power... Oh, this is for Twit.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll be complaining with you about that on Monday. But right now, we're doing the Marvel show.
Okay. Or the
Galactus
show.
in general, Aki, is just dope. Galactus just is a cool character.
Yeah. I like finding him and losing to him in Marvel 3.
Also, apparently his mom has got it going on.
Yep. Goddamn Defenders.
So, lads, it's not my show, but shall we talk about current comics?
All right.
Should I go first since I only read one comic this week?
Yeah, you loser.
Yeah.
How dare you do things other than read comics? Jeez.
I was busy watching Evangelion.
Wow, you fucking weeb.
It was like the first anime I finished in like 5 years. Anyway.
Fucking weeb.
Yeah. Anyway, Radiant Black issue 7. I'm about to go spoilers on this.
Okay, go ahead.
Alright, so like, so all the Radiant Blacks are fighting a god. All the Radiants, not Radiant Blacks. All the Radiants, all the different colored Radiants. They're fighting a guy, and they lose. And we get some characterization. We let me pull up the issue so I can like look, because I'm trying to remember stuff and I'm forgetting. Yeah, actually, I'll go to the designs of the new Radiants. I like it. I like how it's still like there's still distinctions with their like face helmets, but there's still distinctions with their helmets, but they still have a uniformed like look with like colors and stuff, and even the yeah. And I like so they end up they're fighting the guy, and then they teleport to Japan, where we get this like wonderful exchange of what Sentai is that at the end when they fly away. Haha, cute, very cute, Kyle.
Kyle, you into danger? Sounds like you taunting Toei there. Don't be taunting Toei.
Sentai's just the Japanese word for team.
I know.
That's true.
You know what they were referring to.
Listen, motherfucker, you have never felt the legal wrath of Toei on YouTube, okay?
Same. Like, they took down my 2 Kaiser video, and all I said was good things.
They did, those motherfuckers.
Yeah, and I have a copyright strike now, but that's anyway. So most of this issue is like getting interaction with the pink Radiant and the current Radiant Black. I keep forgetting his name. He's like the sidekick to Nathan.
Is it Dathan?
Not Dathan. It's the comic relief guy who has.
Is it Dayman? Enemy of the Nightman?
No, look. Let me.
Is
actually,
it
no, we have his
Faithen?
name right here.
How about Jathan?
Marshall. He's called Marshall. Why did I forget that? Marshall.
Marshall? Is it Marshall?
Is it QT Marshall?
QT Marshall is in this comic? That's awesome.
I don't know anymore. I'm so confused. Marshall and the Pink Girl, they have like they save each other from like giant space war, and then I'm so bad describing this. But then basically the two, there's like 4 Radiants. There's the yellow, red, black, and pink. Black and pink are currently split off, and yellow and red are also together split off. But they find the guy who are defeating them, and at the end of the issue, they're like, let's interrogate them. And that was a pretty good setup for the new arc. Very excited to see where this goes.
Alright.
That was the worst explanation ever.
It could be worse. You could have just went like, there's some pictures on a page and they did things.
You did okay. It was a good first match, kid.
Yeah.
It wasn't a squash. You got some heat in.
Yeah. Got a few good punches in.
Alright, so how the fuck are we dealing with this? Because we have no shared books reread.
Oh my god. Do you want to just,
Like, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
I think
7.
you read 2 more than me.
Also, Vac, you already talked about Mighty Morphin on the episode we recorded.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. We talked about
That was
Zordon.
Power Rangers.
What? No, that's the other one. Are you thinking...
What did I freaking read? Hang on.
Power Rangers came out this week, and Mighty Morphin came out last week.
Oh yeah, I read Power Rangers 10. I'm sorry. I just wrote down the wrong thing, motherfucker, okay?
I can't speak on that because I have not caught up with Power Rangers.
Also, the listeners have no idea what you're talking about because they can't see the doc.
Okay.
Don't dox us!
Me that.
Don't dock us!
That's the kind of shit. That's the kind of shit that you DM during the show. Okay, little lesson for you there, kid. Take that into your future endeavors.
I'm sorry.
You're not being future endeavored though. Don't worry.
Yeah, you're good.
More wrestle jokes.
Yeah. That's literally our dynamic with you now, Buster. It's just we bully you with wrestling references that you don't understand.
I
understand it because I know about life.
Should I take like 2 books and just talk about them, and then we go back and forth?
Sure.
All right, you guys pick the 2 books I talk about.
All right.
I want to hear
Moon Knight number 2,
and I want to hear about Guardians of the Galaxy.
All right, Moon Knight. Let me pull up Moon Knight so I can double check and I know what I'm fucking talking about. Moon Knight. It's kind of a one and done adventure just in this new status quo. There's a bunch of old elderly people going like, yo, we're gonna kill you for the sport of it. Like, all at the same time. They're talking in unison. And it's like, oh, okay, this is weird and creepy.
So it's the most dangerous game meets the osteoporosis dance?
Yes. And Mark is sitting in his office with his vampire assistant while she's drinking blood like it's a juice box.
I love that kind of vampire imagery, honestly.
When a dude busts in all bloodied and he basically tells Moon Knight, yo, elderly people are doing this thing. I had to run away. They're killing and hurting people. And he's like, okay, I'll help deal with it. By the way, my mom is part of it. My elderly mother, who's doing it. And they're trying to stitch this guy up. And then the vampire chick gets blood on her latex gloves, and she starts getting a little weirded out by it. And then she starts going to lick her finger of the blood. And she goes like, okay, god damn it, this is weird. I need to leave.
So it's like she's an alcoholic.
She's like trying to deal with her vampirism because it's still new to her. Okay. And then Moon Knight basically gets led to the apartment to deal with things, and he runs into this janitor. And the janitor is the guy who's been doing it. And he's basically, he's kind of like the Purple Man, where if you ingest his sweat, you basically become infected by his hive mind.
Ingesting janitor sweat?
Yes. That is legit.
Read this right now.
And Moon Knight's trying to figure out how...
is a kink I'm looking for in a future girlfriend. Just to make the
God.
worst joke I can possibly make tonight.
And basically, Moon Knight's trying to figure out how to solve this thing non-violently because he doesn't want to hurt all the old people. He's just trying to take out the janitor, trying to figure that all thing out. And as they're talking, the janitor goes like, yeah, I've been doing this for like months. And after a while, younger people who have a higher tolerance for it, that's why all the people are old. Because they're older, they're infirm, it's easier to infect them. Younger people are now being infected, and the guy he's been helping pulls a gun on Moon Knight. So that's just how it is right now. And so Moon Knight basically goes like, alright, motherfucker. I want to take a bet. I'm Moon Knight. I'm powerful, right? Yeah. So, I want to fight brain to brain. Give me a full, complete dose of your sweat. I will ingest it, and we will see who wins the battle. And the janitor goes like, hell yeah, no one's ever fought against my sweat. So yeah, here's my sweat, Moon Knight. I'm glad to see you in the hive soon. And Moon Knight does it, like, ingests the sweat, and the janitor gets transported into Moon Knight's brain, and a giant fucking cosmic-ass Moon Knight just goes like, yo, the fuck you thought you were doing, bitch?
That's the most comic book shit I've heard in a while.
And he's like talking about Khonshu, minus the cold fire of the moon, minus the tidal pull of the salt blood beating through your heart, minus the silver madness that illuminates but does not warm. Come and worship.
Who's writing this?
Let me check. But essentially, Moon Knight beats the guy in his brain. The guy's comatose for a bit. And they solve the day, and we get another hint at the other Moon Knight that is there to kick Mark's ass. McKay.
McKay.
Jed okay. McKay. Jed, Jed, Mac, MAC. K-A-Y. Matt K.
I'm gonna have to track this motherfucker down at a con at some point and ask them not if they are a Grant Morrison fan, but how much of a Grant Morrison fan they are, because that sounds like something Morrison would write.
Especially because you remember Moon Knight's kind of like thematic status quo right now is he's a priest of Khonshu. Like his Moon Knight costume is his garments. It's his like priestly uniform.
Yeah.
So basically, they solve the whole thing, and the vampire lady goes like, "Yo, this is why I ran out," all that kind of stuff.
I mean, Aki, that's the whole point of the show, is to get people to want to buy things. That's the whole point of YouTube content in general, is to sway your opinion on to buy something or not to buy something. And we just want you to be buying more comics because we don't want this industry to die. We like it very much.
Yeah, no, Moon Knight's fucking sick. And hey, I have seen in Discord servers your frustration with Marvel. I am a Marvel fan. I tend to be a little bit more lenient when they fuck up. I can completely understand you not being that lenient. Sail the 7 seas. Just sail the 7 seas.
Easy. You could hit any one of us. We're all in Buster's server. You could hit any one of us up privately for a link.
Yeah.
Hit them.
But Guardians, we are currently in a Dormammu annihilation.
Oh god, that's right.
So Dormammu has taken over Ego's planet. It's now a Dormammu head. So they're trying to figure out how to save the galaxy, all that kind of stuff. You there, Vac?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just weathering the storm.
Is it because it's big dumb cosmic shit, or is it because you're like, oh god, Dormammu?
Yes.
Okay. And so basically a lot of this is just kind of like figuring out what Dormammu's doing, figuring out how they can fight it. It's a lot of talking, it's a lot of meetings, and Doctor Doom basically goes like, alright, Dormammu is trying to enact a giant galactic scale magic circle in a pentagram in order to merge this reality and the dark dimension.
God damn it.
And he is using 5 different homeworld planets to do it. The homeworld of the Shi'ar, the homeworld of the Skrull, the homeworld of the Kree, the homeworld of the Chitauri, and the homeworld of the Spartax. And for people who don't know, Spartax is the alien race that comic book Star-Lord is from. He's not an Eternal. He's a Spartax. And so basically they figure out and they divide up into groups to go at it. There's a tension because Peter Quill's really trusting Doctor Doom, and Nova is not really... It's Doctor Doom. Don't trust Doctor Doom. And they basically go to their separate ways to figure out how to fight it. Doom. Oh, we get one of those kind of moments in fucking this issue.
You got me again.
So they go to the Chitauri planet, and basically Dormammu's taking it over. He's mind controlling all the Chitauri. He's won there, and Doom, and like they're just trying to figure out how to stop that.
Is that really what the back of my head looks like? Oh my god!
And so to do it, Doom sends out his an entire giant legion of Doombots. And and Doombots go like, I am an extension of Doom's will. Doom's will be done. And they're just fighting Chitauri that are being mind controlled by Dormammu. It's kind of sick. As we show up on Spartax, a bunch of the other team is there, and it's revealed that, oh yeah, remember the fact that Ego and Galactus worked together for a bit, and Galactus gave some of his powers to Ego, and Ego was able to build a body for himself, but like the planet was his head, so it's like a huge fucking body. Dormammu can do that now. It's a giant fucking Dormammu just stomping around doing shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm fucking hyped for this. It's fucking Dormammu.
This is Boingo cool as fuck.
Dormammu.
Also, I read the first 2 issues of Moon Knight while you were capping that. The new Moon Knight when you were capping it. Oh my god, this is such a good book. I'm
Moon
gonna
Knight's
keep up.
fucking sick. Moon Knight, ever since like mid 2000s with I can't remember the guy's name. Sal did him on Comic Pop.
Rod Rodai, I think.
No, it was, but like, ever since Moon Knight came back in the mid 2000s, like Moon Knight's just been popping off. Pretty much every run except the Bendis run has been pretty critically acclaimed.
And even then, there's a lot of people. Even then, there's a lot of people who still like the Bendis run because of the novelty of it. Because in that run, his multiple personalities are different Avengers.
Yeah.
Oof, I don't like that.
Yeah, it's stupid, honestly. So should I talk about the one Marvel book I read this week?
Hell yeah, why don't you tell me about Kang the Conqueror?
Yeah, I read the first issue of the new Kang the Conqueror series from some fucking people I've never heard of. It's... You know, it's,
It's cosmic Marvel bullshit?
It's sequential art.
I skimmed it a little bit. I plan on going back and reading it. It is literally, hey, all the people who are confused by Kang, this is Kang.
Yeah, because it's like I think it's like a new Kang origin story. Because the book is like Kang going, oh, I'm in the future and I'm bored. My future is boring. I've done everything I could possibly do. I'm going to kidnap my younger self and turn him into me.
Well, that's always been the thing with his younger self, because his younger self was Iron Lad.
Okay. I barely know Iron Lad as a concept.
He was part of the Young Avengers with
that was not a question.
Speed, Wiccan, and Hulkling.
But yeah, Iron fucking kidnaps the kid, and he takes the kid back to like a weird prehistoric era that's apparently in Earth's current future, and he puts him through a whole bunch of bullshit, and one day the kid meets a young Ravonna who's like a fucking savage lady, and they connect, and he's like, whoa, you told me there weren't people here. There's people here, and they're awesome, and I'm in love. And he's like, he literally slaps him and goes, you fucking simp, and then slaughters everyone just to prove a point of, like, don't get fucking attached. That is not how being Kang works. And also, there's a whole thread of, like, current Kang, old Kang, is like a drunkard who rambles about Ravonna in his sleep. And at the end of this issue, young Kang kills him and puts on the costume and escapes into the future. And that's the story. I'm assuming this is a mini that basically just gets him to being the Kang we all know and know. Yeah.
Because next issue is dealing with Ramen Tut.
Hey, Vac, talk to me about Power Rangers. Oh, what happened? I heard cats were involved.
Yeah, that's it. There's a fucking cat. This issue is about a big, weird alien cat going around, being led around by the Blue Emissary. Yeah. Also, it runs into the original Blue Omega Ranger, who's got...
Oh, like Kai?
Yeah, the space lady. She's got some new friends, and they're trying to put together, like, I guess, like a Power Rangers Legion of Doom, I think. It's a very brief scene. But this tiger goes around and it like saves some kids that are from the town the Omega Rangers are setting up and protecting. And I don't know, man. Like, apparently this cat is gonna be the new Blue Omega Ranger, is what fucking Parrot has been saying on Twitter.
Hey, he showed an image.
But like, I can't be brought to give a shit about this fucking space cat at this point. And
also, just want to say, kind of funky how the 2 Power Rangers comics...
Hey, don't steal my tweet. That's plagiarism. That's fucking plagiarism. I get to say that.
Okay, so I thought there was someone else who tweeted that out.
No, it's Power Month, and the only 2 issues of Power Rangers that have come out so far don't feature any actual Power Rangers, because this fucking cat doesn't morph by the end of the issue, so it doesn't count. It's bullshit.
Is this cat the same species as Cat from SPD?
No, it's like a four-eyed space cat. It looks like a four-eyed white tiger. Like, here's an image of kind of like a collage of its backstory.
I'll look at that in a bit.
Like Meow Rangers 2.0. Meow Rangers 2.0.
Do you want this stream to end early, Aki?
All right, why don't you tell me what book you want me to talk about next that I read?
Let's just go through X-Men and reading.
Okay, I don't remember the reading order. I think it was Marauders first.
You fake fan.
I barely remember half the shit I do. What the fuck you talking about, bruv?
Don't you remember when you took a piss?
Yeah, he's a big dumb space tiger, but like, doesn't make me like him. You gotta tell stories that make me like him. Big dumb space tiger is a cool concept, but that doesn't inherently make the character cool. Concept is but a launching pad with which to tell stories. Because we are.
Is that Star Wars prequels thing?
Star Wars prequels? What are you talking about?
I don't. The way you said it sounded like a character from the Star Wars prequels.
No, I was making fun of like uppity stage actors.
That's still. Tomato.
Yes, those things are very comparable, Buster. That's what those are. Are you ready yet?
Hello there.
General Kenobi, are you ready yet?
First up is Marauders. It's kind of like a reaffirming of the status quo for what this book is. Sean Cassidy, aka the Banshee, is now kind of part of the goings-on due to his previous friendship with Emma Frost. And they're
has shown up before?
What? Sean?
Aki is saying this cat has showed up before, and I'm like, as a refresher, everybody, I dropped Power Rangers at the start of Necessary Evil and just kind of jumped back in 2 or 3 issues ago, so I didn't know that.
But basically, due to the Marauder being blown up at the Hellfire Gala, supplies have been kind of weird, so there's a lot of smuggling and a lot of cartels being built up around Krakoa medicines. And basically, Emma Frost and the Marauder crew are trying to, like, handle it. You know? They don't want an incident on anything. And Sean Cassidy is going through a warehouse and fighting some mafiosos. I think it's Russian mafia, and then there's some Irish mafia that also get involved, and it's like a shootout, and he just tries to help out and figure everything out. And yeah, hold on, I'm trying. For some reason, it's not letting me scroll easily today. Also, Mumbo's now a member of the Marauders.
Who's Mumbo?
He's the 4-armed fashion designer for Emma.
Oh, Jumbo. Jesus, why did I think he has a last name starting with an M. Yeah, Jumbo. Okay.
He showed up and helped out.
I like Jumbo.
Yeah.
Jumbo's a good boy. We respect him in this house.
Yeah. But basically, they're trying to defuse a bomb and do all the cool stuff and all that jazz. It's an adventure book.
All right. Well, I did 2 books there because Buster wanted to talk about Power Rangers. So, do you want to do another one?
Sure. Why don't I talk about something other than X-Men real quick, just to kind of get it out of the way, so then we can just full X-Men. More Sinister War. This is the...
Oh, right. I forgot Sinister War wasn't... I was thinking Mr. Sinister when I saw that on your list.
Oh, no. This is the current ongoing Spider-Man story. It's Nick Spencer wrapping up his run. It's name a Sinister Six style team in Spider-Man's history. They have reformed, and are fighting a war against each other to kill Spider-Man.
I mean, literally the only two I know are the Sinister Six and the Sinister Syndicate.
And the Syndicate right now is the all-women's team.
Oh, okay.
That's the name they're going by. There's also the the Savage Six. There's a couple other different versions of the Sinister Six. And they don't necessarily have names, but it is like teams of 6 bad guys working together. And Spider-Man's just all fucked up. He's running, he's doing all that kind of stuff. And then Black Cat shows up and he's like, oh my god, thank god it's Black Cat. But we're gonna need more help. She goes like, yeah, we got more help. And there's Wolverine and the Human Torch, and you're going like, ah, Spider-Man's getting a lucky break. And then Wolverine starts growling and hissing. And nope, it's Lizard. It's Mysterio. He's trying to trick Spider-Man. Oh god.
Oh my god. Poor Pete.
Yep, and Harry is just going like, haha, I'm evil. And he brings back to life the Sin Eater.
Who the hell is the Sin Eater?
The Sin Eater is a pretty important character from a pretty important Spider-Man story who is basically a serial killer with a shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That he's just an asshole with a shotgun. That Spider-Man.
Dude from Death of Jane DeWolf.
Yep.
Okay,
that's
what I thought.
Death of Jane DeWolf. So Spider-Man's just trying to escape, trying to stay safe, and other teams just always keep coming at him. It is just not ending for Spider-Man. And he's just going like, I need to get free. I need to get to Mary Jane. This is all fucked up. And then superior foes show up.
Oh, fucking go Ross Wakino!
Yeah.
Oh.
Spencer brought his original Marvel boys back.
Yeah, so the superior foes are there, and they start fighting, and then Boomerang has one brief second with Spider-Man, and he just goes, run. What? Run! Boomerang realizes he fucked up. He's trying to save Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And all the while, he's been, like, talking to Dr. Octopus. It's like, yo, Doc Ock, you were a good guy for a bit. You were Spider-Man. You learned your lesson. Why are you doing this? You can be good. And Dr. Octopus is, like, hesitates for a second. It's like, no. And they continue fighting. And, like, also, all the other Sinister teams show up, and it's like, what the fuck? And then a brand new Sinister team shows up, and it's a bunch of dead Spider-Man baddies, so it's Morlun, it's Sinister, it's Gargoyle, it's Whirlwind, and they just show up and like, yo, what's up, you ready to, there's no hiding from your sins.
Morlun is fucking alive again. Spencer has just gone off the goddamn wall.
As the final page is just basically a little bit of a monologue as we see Doc Ock, Boomerang, Mysterio, and not Killer Moth, Mothman? No. The current Moth character who's the daughter. And they basically it's basically, so now you see
because the power of cameos, Aki.
So now you see how the story goes, Pete. People don't change. No matter how hard they try, our parts are written for us, and we're just players on a stage, and now let me show you the end. And it's basically saying, like, yo, you know how all these good guys had character arcs? How all these bad guys had character arcs that kind of made them good for a bit, and now they're kind of acting evil? But now we're showing how they're regretting their current evil actions, and we're trying to cement them as better people? And I'm saying, like, no, they aren't better people. They're the same assholes. People never change. But you see Boomerang just going like, ah, shit, what the, I don't, shouldn't have done that. I should help Spider-Man. Like, they're all freaking out. It's like, oh, we're doing bad. I don't want to do bad anymore.
Yeah, Spider-Man shit.
Yeah, Spider-Man shit. So I'm enjoying it. It's fun.
All right, cool.
More issues of Sinister Wars there.
I think that's the latest one. So there's 3, and it's a mini series going concurrent with Amazing Spider-Man. So it's like one issue of Amazing, one Sinister, Amazing, Sinister, to kind of give more space and room to breathe for the story.
I mean, honestly, with everything I'm hearing about Spencer's run, Aki, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends with Boomerang making the decision to be a hero from this point on, and that'll last probably like 2 years.
Yeah, it'll last until people forget about Boomerang, and then there's going to be a writer who goes like, "Oh yeah, I want to use Boomerang. He's a bad guy, right?"
Yeah. All right. Well, fellas.
Fellas.
Fellas. You know what time it is?
Simp.
All right. Simple way.
Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow #3 came out this week, and I'm gonna be honest. This issue was not Goat Ross by Kino. This was not as hype as the first two. It was good. It was dang good.
Okay.
But it was not as good as the first two because it's a fairly standard done-in-one about Supergirl and Rufy having tracked Rufy's father's killer to this planet, and they're going around this one town and just noticing something odd about it. Everybody's acting a little off, and Rufy's talking about how, for the narration, that there's something this whole planet is kind of infamous for now. And this is the story of how Supergirl brought that thing to light. So at one point, we see them having breakfast in a diner, and Supergirl says when the waitress comes up, that welcome sign above the counter, it's been repainted recently like the fountains I saw out on Main. I looked underneath the paint. It says, no purples. Why no purples? Why paint over it? I don't get it. And the waitress says, you going to order something? I got customers. And the book goes on like that for a little bit, with everybody being generally helpful, but obviously hiding something. Until later that night, as Rufy is sleeping, Kara wakes her up in the middle of the night and shields her with her body as their room is pelted with bullets.
Ooh.
And Kara goes out to try and find the people that attacked them. She can't find them. But the next morning, she goes to the mayor's office because at the start of the issue, the mayor had turned her away, and she basically says, all right, now I know you motherfuckers are trying to hide something.
Have they gotten to a yellow sun yet?
Yeah, they're on a yellow sun.
Okay.
Either you're going to tell me what's going on, or I'm going to tear your town apart. And he basically goes, oh, he shouts like general scared politician things at her. You're a disruption. You're in violation of this law and that law. I can have you arrested. And Kara just says, no, you can't, but you're welcome to fucking try. And she then flies all around the city and the outskirts of the city with Rufy on her back in, quite frankly, a beautiful full-page spread. And eventually lands outside the city and digs up a mass grave.
Ooh.
And she goes back to the constable, the basically the sheriff of the town, and gets him to spill the beans that approximately a month before they showed up, a race of intergalactic marauders known for basically just enjoying killing and pillaging for the sake of it, showed up and basically said to the mayor of the town, all right, you're next on our list. We're going to take you out because you just seem like an easy target. And the mayor begged and pleaded, and the killer of Rufy's father happened to be in prison and overheard all this and managed to escape that night, went up to the Marauders and said, you know what would be a much better deal? Next town over, these people fucking hate them. Why don't you try and get some money out of these people by saying, if they give you enough money, you'll go kill those people instead. And also, I'll help you broker the deal in exchange for a ride. And so these Marauders slaughtered an entire race of people because there were blue people and purple people in this town. and the purples were forced into like a sub-town outside of the regular town with substandard housing and all that. It's an allegory for black people.
It's an allegory for a lot of things, because when you first were talking about it, I was like, oh, civil rights and all that kind of stuff. And then as you continue talking,
very Nazi Germany kind of a thing.
One of my initial thoughts was like, oh, apartheid.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just in general, because Aki's also bringing up Canada's mass graves. It's just in general being racist asshole. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Bigotry.
Yeah. And the whole thing kind of culminates with like really the first moment of Rufy being shook by something out in the galaxy. And the last page is literally just Rufy sitting on a street corner as Kara comes out of the mayor's office after having confronted him about all this and saying that she's going to make it public knowledge. And Rufy just looks completely dejected, and she just says, I cannot fathom that. I cannot fathom it. These people are so... They lived their lives so kindly. You saw them. They have families. They have all those dead, and they just got away with it. How can... It's too big, we're too small. And then you get a couple panels of the camera panning out on the two of them embracing.
Yeah, that's a Superman... Well, that's a super character story.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah. It was it is a good solid issue. I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who maybe found it a little too preachy, but honestly, I think it's the best you could possibly handle this kind of topic in the modern climate.
It'll probably also fit better in when you have the whole of the mini.
Mm-hmm.
So,
because like I think there's going to be an overarching point to this whole series. I haven't picked up on what it could be yet, but I think there's going to be that. And also, just judging by the way the last issue and now this issue have gone, I think a lot of what Tom King is doing here is just, oh, there's no universally beloved and like pointed at Supergirl series. Let me just do one that has a bunch of dope done-in-one stories with her, so there is one of those that people can point to.
And other than the dying thing, like, my first thought was like, oh yeah, no, it's kind of like All-Star Superman, where Grant Morrison just kind of had like a couple of vignettes of Superman.
Very much so, I can see that.
Yeah. All right, fellas, pick the X book you want first.
Let's hear what Nightcrawler's up to.
Nightcrawler in Way of X is because last time he basically took Lost and Fabian Cortez to Mars to kind of try and figure out and air their grievances and be a counselor and all that kind of stuff. But we first hold on, this isn't wanting to scroll for me, so it's going to take a second. So much going on. But we first come in with Xavier waking up after being annihilated and destroyed by Zorn and Zorn.
Nice.
Because remember, last issue, Zorn and Zorn just killed Xavier because he found out about the Onslaught stuff going on. You know? And Legion's still on Mars trying to build the temple and everything. And Professor Xavier comes up and goes like, all right, I have no idea what's going on, but I feel like we're in danger because you're here. I'm just coming here to tell you that if you die, you are not going to be high on the resurrection list. All the while, Legion is completely ignoring Xavier and is just trying to talk to Nightcrawler psychically. Yo, I can feel him, he's doing shit. Yo, you listen to Nightcrawler, we need to figure this thing out. I'm trying to build a temple for a spiritual center for mutant kind. All the while, Nightcrawler is trying to stop Lost and Fabian from fighting each other. Because he's just going like, but damn it, you're supposed to be listening to each other. Because he thought, oh yeah, no, I'm just going to put these two people who hate each other right beside each other, and they're going to talk out their problems. They're not going to try and kill each other.
He literally tried to put two superpowered mutants in a get-along shirt.
Yes. But they're, like, just destroying each other. And then Nightcrawler comes up with a... we'll talk about what Nightcrawler does in a second. But we go back to Xavier. He's just kind of figuring things out. He's talking respect the sacred land. And that's one of the things that they've been kind of going on about. It's like, how can we use the 3 laws that we've made for mutant kind to fix the spiritual problem that's been cropping up because of the disregard for life, because of resurrection, and because of Onslaught. But then we jump back to Nightcrawler, and he's trying to figure out, alright, I need to get these two to stop fighting. I know. He grabs both of them, teleports 3 miles up in the air, and they're going like, what the fuck? We're falling, we're about to die. What's gonna happen? You are 10 kilometers above Mars, and you are falling to your deaths. And basically, Nightcrawler, pissed off at both of them, just goes like, alright. Basically, yo, you're not allowed to let yourselves die, because you are part of the land. If you let yourselves die just to be resurrected, you are breaking one of the laws of Krakoa. Respect this sacred land. That's Nightcrawler's loophole. You have to respect your life as it is right now because it is part of the land that you were living on. So no more just killing yourself to solve the problem. You gotta fucking deal with shit. And basically, like, Fabian and Lost go like, fuck. Alright, we are falling, we're about to die, let's talk it out. And Fabian goes like, I'm twisted up inside, I need help. Because he has no empathy for people. He wants to just kill humans, he does not give a fuck. And Lost was like, yo, my parents, when they died, when you killed them, I was taken in by an organization, they did things with me. And then Onslaught shows up and goes like, nah, bitch, you're pissed. Oh, and they start trying to fight each other again. And it's just like, oh, fuck. And Fabian uses his power, because Fabian Cortez's power is that he can amplify another mutant's ability. And he does that to Lost, and he kills her. Because he supercharged her too much. But because he supercharged her so much, the moon of Phobos is starting to fall into Mars, because Lost's power is gravity. So now they're trying to evacuate all of Mars, except like some of the Arakko people are going like, nah, fuck you, we're gonna fight the moon.
Oh shit.
And like, Xavier's going like, oh my god, Legion, you're in a meditative state, I can't get you out. And he starts crying because like, he's saying like, I don't want to resurrect you because I know you're a danger to all of this, but like, I love you, you're my son, I don't want you to die. And like, Nightcrawler's trying to figure out this whole situation. Fabian's going like, oh my god, we get us to a gate, you can't leave me here, that's murder. And and like, Nightcrawler's going like, no, it's a crime to let this moon do what it's about to do. And Nightcrawler looks
at... an odd way to mention it, Buster, but have a good night, I guess.
Yeah. But then basically, Nightcrawler says, Fabian, load me. Overload my power. He teleports to the moon and teleports it back into fucking orbit. And Fabian's going like, no, I will kill you. It'll go wrong, and they'll say I broke it. They'll say I killed you. I don't want to, like, I'm just realize how fucked up I am, and I want to fix myself. And now you're telling me to put myself into a situation where I might kill you? Fuck. And then Nightcrawler just looks at him and goes like, how can you hope for the love of your people when you so plainly despise yourself? And he just supercharges Nightcrawler with tears in his eyes and says, respect the sacred land. As Nightcrawler teleports to the moon and like 1, 2, 3 teleports it back into orbit. His like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
As he's like burning up. As he's on the moon, scarred, burned, no oxygen, dying. As he comes back, resurrection. He goes like, Professor, what happened? You died, Kurt. You died on purpose. And he's going like, suicide? No. I can't. Suicide? And then Lost shows up and goes like, no, you died so it mattered. You died, not suicide, you died so it mattered. You saved millions. And he can't remember that last few moments. He can't remember what he said to Cortez. He can't remember what Cortez said to him. And he's going like, damn, there was a revelation there. There was a way to help solve this problem, and he can't remember it because that's how the resurrection protocols work.
Pretty badass, though.
As Fabian Cortez can't answer Nightcrawler's questions, because overcharging Nightcrawler that much put him into a vegetative state.
Oh!
As we look over Krakoa, as we see ghostly illusions of onslaught over everyone's head.
Log. So it's time to start asking a question on whether or not patient-assisted suicide is okay on Krakoa, right?
There's a question to be asked there. And, like, this asked a lot of fucking questions about everything Krakoa has been doing lately. And it also gives some, like, possible answers of what they could do. It's fucking good. Also, Nightcrawler MVP of fucking mutant kind. Holy shit.
I mean, when has he not? Kurt is best boy.
Kurt is best boy. But yeah, no. And I think that might be the end of Way of X for right now, because it says to be continued in X-Men, the Onslaught thing. And an Onslaught mini that might be happening soon.
Interesting. Well, let me just real quick talk about Shazam #2, because I did read that, and it was pretty okay. It wasn't great, but it is all right. And I get the feeling that's just going to be the thing with this book going on, is it's just kind of like it's an all right adventure story, because the issue opens up and basically they are in one of the many versions of hell that exists in the DC universe, because that's where they think the Rock of Eternity is. And Billy and this new character whose name I am forgetting at the moment, like, he's got like a very simple, just normie name like Jake. He's the guy who at the end of the first issue helped him teleport to this hell dimension.
Right.
And they go into what is basically a casino that's designed to get you indebted to hell permanently. And Jake, I'm just going to call him Jake, fuck it. He just gets addicted to gambling right away. But Billy goes up to the bar to try and get information about the Rock of Eternity. And then this cute demon lady comes up and starts hitting on him and says, like, oh, you might want to talk to this guy. He's the big boss man around here. He knows everything. And then it turns out that Jake has now gotten indebted to the big boss man guy, because he runs the casino, and he's in a whole lot of trouble because he can't actually pay off his debts because he's a kid. And Billy's just like, no problem. I'll just fuck this guy up and get us out of here. Shazam! Oh shit, that's right, it's not working. So they have to run, and eventually Billy ends up hiding in a circus tent, and he bumps into the cute demon lady again, and very quickly finds out that she does like him back. There's a legit attraction there, but also the guy they're running from is her dad.
Oh.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Womp womp.
But then he notices where the Rock of Eternity is. It's like just across the field outside of the little town they're in. So he's like, great, I can get to the Rock of Eternity, I can get us all out of here, I can get my powers back and fix this. And then the dad shows up with a bunch of demon minions, and he's got Jake, and oh shit, they're gonna beat up Jake. But because he's close enough to the Rock of Eternity now, Billy can turn into Shazam, and so he starts fighting Dad, and Dad does a make my monster grow. And then the issue ends with, the kid's name was Dane, because I just got to a panel where somebody says his name.
Cook.
Yeah, Dane Cook. And it turns out that Dane is actually a big badass, because the issue ends with him sprouting some wings and pulling out a sword of fire and saying to the demon who looks to Demon Dad who looks terrified, "I am Nevermore, son of the underworld, heir to the dark realm and all its hellish conquests, and I think I've had just about enough of you."
Okay. Also, Aki said some things. I think Billy's just Billy. He can't transform into Shazam right now. So
the whole reason this series starts is in the first issue, Shazam is having trouble with his powers. It's kind of like Spider-Man 2 when the powers start glitching out. It's that kind of a thing. And eventually he overheard from a conversation Dr. Fate was having with the Titans that the Rock of Eternity was stuck in a hell dimension, and Dr. Fate and Raven have been having visions of the Rock of Eternity being destroyed. So this issue is like Billy racing against time to stop the Rock from being destroyed so he can still be Shazam.
And on Kurt on Krakoa saying make more mutants. Yeah, that backfired a little bit because people did make more mutants. They also didn't take care of those new baby mutants.
There's just a big mutant orphanage on Krakoa now.
Yeah, because they didn't. Because it's like, yeah, fuck it, Krakoa will take care of it.
Also, to answer your actual question, the demon lady is into Billy probably because she comes up to him in the casino when he's just Billy.
Yeah. But Shazam seems like it's at least a fun time, if not a deep time.
Yeah, it seems like it's a solid mini that tells a complete story that you can just throw at somebody to say, "Hey, here's a cool Shazam story." And it's the first thing we've had like that in quite a while, because for a very long time it's just been it's been John's telling his ongoing retelling of the origin of Shazam, which took like 8 years to complete.
I mean, wasn't there also Superman Shazam? Wasn't that a good mini?
Yeah, that was solid. And like before that, you had the Monster Society of Evil, which is what the next movie is going to be based off of, I think. But yeah, I don't know. Shazam is literally the Moon Knight of DC. He's always okay. He's always got something cool going on, but he's never going to be an A-list.
Yeah, no. But they will always pop them out when they need that one specific thing, you know?
Yeah. So, speaking of one specific thing, tell me about whatever the fuck's going on with X-Corp.
They in the last issue they were having like this big meeting of like, oh hey, here's our telecommunications network, and nothing worked, and it's like, oh no. But here's the thing: they have Mastermind on their board of directors. Who's Mastermind? Remember, he's a dude who has master over illusions. He's like mutant version of Mysterio. So he made the entire audience think that it was working without a hitch. To basically go like, all right, I got it covered, but you need to figure out what's happening so we can fix it.
Wow. Has Lady Mastermind shown back up since they brought her back to life in giant size?
I don't know. I think she might appear in this. I don't remember. But they're trying to figure out what's going on. Mastermind's basically scrolling on this page is not wanting to fucking work for me for some reason. So it's gonna take a minute.
Okay.
Oh god. But yeah, it's a old school traditional dude mastermind, and he's like figuring it all out.
They got the mutton chops.
No, he has a Van Dyke.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It was Shaw with the mutton chops.
Yeah, Shaw with the muttons.
That's like a Becky with the good hair type statement.
Yeah.
Shaw with the mutton chops.
But basically, they're going through and kind of figuring out how to basically get back at the woman who's been fucking up with their business plans, the human lady. And so I think this is Lady Mastermind. She basically takes off a psychic dampener off of her and shows her like some tormenting scenes and all that kind of stuff. Trying to figure it out. as a couple people, as a couple like investors and like Bishop show up to help route out some of the people that were in the headquarters to starting things. As they have a meeting with all the board of directors to kind of solve some things. So like, how do we solve? How are we going to solve this problem of this company that these humans are making that is being helped by 2 mutants who are the Strucker kids, who are Nazis? How are we going to solve this? And so the idea they come up with is we're going to buy the company out from under them. We're going to go to all their shareholders and buy their shares without them knowing. So we will own their company and we can just dissolve them.
So it's like a hostile takeover.
Yeah. The only one who's not agreeing with it is Warren. Because Angel.
Yeah.
Because Monet's on board with it, Celine is on board, Jamie Madrox and a Mastermind are all on board. They just go like,
oh, yes, Warren's like, oh, that's not fair. That's not how stocks work.
He's more of like, I don't want us to be assholes. Can we not be assholes? And then Monet just goes like, Warren, honey, we were already assholes. We already did it without your knowledge. We've done it. It's done. It's done. We've done it. Fuck.
But we'll make a note of your opinion in our law.
No, literally, they hold a vote, and one of the pages of the Hickman info is just like the voting, and it's like 1 to disapprove, 4 approve. All of them sign their names on the bottom. And then Angel and Monet have a little fight, because Monet is basically going like, Warren, you've been holding back, and it's hurting you as a businessman, because Warren can now change between Angel and Archangel.
Yeah, that's been an ability for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And basically Monet is going like, yo, I have taken control of my anger state with penance, and you're afraid of it. Fuck that. And they fight, and Angel goes like, yo, yeah, we're going back to basic mutant training stuff, because that's just how mutants work. You train by using the danger room. You train your powers by sparring with other people, so you know your limits and you know how far you can take your powers before you hurt another person. Like, that's just how mutants work. It's exploring a part of mutant culture. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like having a conversation, having a little back and forth, as the 2 Strucker mutants basically take a hit team through one of the Krakoan gates, because remember, if you're invited by a mutant, you can go through the gate into the business headquarters, as Jamie Madrox is going like, God damn it, not a fucking again. Let me just absorb all you dupes so we can get all the information. As a strike team shoots Madrox in the heart, he's lying there dying, as they say, I can do whatever I want with the X Corporation's mutant trash, and the world will cheer me on. Perhaps I'll even crash it into your smug fucking island once you're all dead.
From my limited understanding of Dragon Ball, you are correct, Donkey.
X Corp is not a book for everyone, but it scratches a really fucking weird itch.
Yeah, it seems interesting. It seems like it's important to the grand tapestry of the new Hickman X-Men era.
Yeah. But no, I like that aspect of mutant kind, where it's like, no, we learn about our powers by using against each other, so we can like learn our limitations and learn through each other. I like that aspect of it. It creates a weird warrior culture, as we've seen with Arako, but it's nice. It works.
Maybe that's what they were always destined to become.
Fucking badasses.
We'll see what happens when Hickman eventually comes back to do Act 3.
Tell me about the ass!
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about the best comic of this week. I saved the best for last.
Buddy, we still have to talk about my last comic.
But, like, how good could it possibly be? Because Nightwing 83 opens with Melinda Zuko's apartment under siege with Dick Grayson hiding inside of it, and they're going like, what the fuck are we gonna do? Blockbuster is coming up the elevator, and there's a bunch of SWAT police outside, and Dick just goes, you guys will cover for me, right? Yeah, but how are we gonna get to be able to cover for you? You got any rope? And so it just cuts, and Blockbuster is kicking down the door, and Melinda and her butch live-in assistant are tied to chairs, and Blockbuster is just like, did he get anything from you? Where did he go? And the butch assistant is just like, he went out for the window. And so we get a fucking rooftop battle between fucking Dick Grayson Nightwing and Blockbuster that is just the most Kingpin Daredevil shit you will ever get in DC Comics. Like, look at this spread.
You do know why I haven't been able to look on Discord, right? Because I have to, like, minimize your screen in order to look at it.
Yeah, that's right. That's a little bit limiting for this show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, well. Anyway, Dick jumps off the roof and steals a SWAT helicopter to get to safety. And we get one of the best exchanges in this book so far.
That is literally just Kingpin with a ponytail.
I mean, that's Blockbuster. That's what that character has always been. But Dick gets back to his apartment, and he kind of like falls in through his own window, and Babs and Tim run up to help him, and he's just like, I'm okay. And Tim goes, you're on the floor. And he goes, I'm okay on the floor. And so they help him to bed, and he ends up sleeping 2 whole days. And Babs explains in the intervening time that Tim's been patrolling, making sure nothing too bad happens in the city, and there's been no sign of Heartless. He's been nowhere to be found. So that
Sora must have really took care of it.
Yeah.
With Donald and Goofy?
Yeah. Are you going to do it to me again? Okay. So...
Roxas!
But Dick explains that he has a bunch of meetings lined up, or he had a bunch of meetings lined up for those 2 days. And Babs is like, "Oh yeah, I rescheduled them all. They're all they're all squeezed into the next day." And he's like, "Okay." So we see a montage of Dick going to see Leslie Tompkins, the Titans, Lucius Fox, and then we get a full 3-page scene of him, or I'm sorry, it's 4 pages of him talking to Superman, and basically consulting with all these important people from his life about this idea he's been working on since the start of the run, and getting their opinion and getting feedback on it, and also asking for support and help if it should run into some snags. And the scene, like, if you read nothing else from this run, you need to read the scene with Dick and Clark in the scene, because it's such classic DC stuff. Like there's a couple lines of dialogue that almost have me tearing up, of just 2 wholesome boys interacting, talking about their universe. Like there's legitimately a scene where they're talking about, because Clark says, you could have called someone else to talk about it. You could have called Bruce, or you could be talking to Bruce. Isn't he like more your father figure? And Dick goes, can I just text him? He'll probably appreciate the non-personal touch. And Clark laughs and goes, yeah, that's true. For a man who has fearlessly stood up to Darkseid, Bruce will do a lot to avoid a conversation. And then they start talking about Alfred and how Alfred left Dick all this money. And there's just this nice little panel where Clark has an aside, and he said, and because we haven't seen Clark react to Alfred's death in continuity yet, so Clark says, "I'm sorry about Alfred. I looked up to him greatly." And Dick just has this face of utter befuddlement, like, Superman looked up to Alfred Pennyworth? And Clark says, "Of course. The world would have been lost without the heroes he raised. Without his generosity, his love, his support. You're a lot like him, you know?" And so then Dick tells Clark his idea, and he Clark's reaction is, "That's quite an idea." And Dick says, "Yeah, the thing is, I'm worried it's too small." And Clark goes, "It's not small, it's focused. And in a world full of big thinkers, we need more focused thinkers." And they part ways, and he basically says, "I'll help in any way I can, but I need a favor from you. I might have to go away for a while. A lot will fall to my son, John. It would mean a lot to me if you could give him some guidance and some friendship." And Dick's like, "Of course, I'd be honored to do so." Which is really sweet. Really enjoyed seeing that. And then we go to the next day, where Dick is holding a press conference outside his apartment building, and he's super nervous. He doesn't know how the world is going to take what he has to say, but we get a sweet little moment of Babs giving him some reassurance and some comfort, and Taylor did it. They're a couple again because they kiss.
All right.
Which, I know it's not everyone's ship. Personally, I'm fine with Dick Babs and also Dick Corey. Whichever a writer wants to do, they both work for me. So I thought it was a cute and logical moment this run has been building towards, because we've had several moments of them acting like boyfriend girlfriend, but then there being a question of like, oh god, do we really want to do that again? And so this is kind of like the, yeah, fuck it, why not kind of moment. But Dick goes out and he talks to the press and announces something called the Alfred Pennyworth Foundation, which is basically a massive outreach program aimed at making the lives of homeless people and less fortunate people in Bloodhaven way easier. It's basically, if you can't get out of homelessness, here's a support system for you to be able to live more comfortably in that situation. And if you want to get out of homelessness, here is a really easy and good path to get out of it. And as he's talking about this, we see a montage of like Blockbuster looking at anger and disgust in it. Melinda Zuko's mom reacting to it very positively. And then after the announcement, he goes back inside his apartment and he opens up the Bat Family group chat, which is probably my favorite thing about this run so far. I fucking love that Taylor established that. And the reactions are, Steph just says, "Wow." Tim says, "Always raising the bar higher for the rest of us. Proud of you." Jason says, "Nice work. Before you give it all away, don't forget you owe me $20. Damien says, "Not that it's a competition, but you win." And Cass just spams clapping emojis. Because of course Cass is an emoji spammer. But then Dick gets a phone call, and he picks it up, and it's Bruce.
Oh.
And Dick says, "Hey, you don't usually call." And Bruce says, "I know. I'm sorry, but Dick, you honored him today. Thank you." As we see Bruce in the cave looking at a picture of young him and Alfred. And then we cut for the last page stinger of Heartless in a big fancy high-rise apartment watching the press conference and basically saying, "He always made me who I am he made me who I am today, but I have plans for Bloodhaven and they really don't line up with Dick's vision here. I'll have to take his heart before he gives it to the city." Bum, bum, bum.
Okay, I am just going from what you've told me and what I know of Alfred and what I know of his story. Here's my theory. That is Alfred's spy protege.
Be.
From back when he was a spy and he was less scrupulous with his morals, that's the person he trained to be a spy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with that reveal, and it would also make sense because remember, Dick was a super spy not too long ago.
But it also lines up with like it's about Dick and Alfred raising the heroes, but like, oh, what if Alfred also raised a villain without meaning to? All that kind of stuff.
And yeah, Aki, it's totally fair not to like Dick Babs. Like, I understand people not liking it because you can kind of view it as like a brother-sister type thing, but like enough things have done it and done it in a way that didn't make me feel icky. It more so felt wholesome that I'm, like I said, I'm comfortable with either Dick Babs or Dick Corey, whatever the writer wants to do.
See, I think Starfire works better thematically because it is, if I can be honest, it's like a romantic version of Superman and Batman.
Yeah, I can see that. Personally, I've always thought of it as like, if to put Dick as his own character aside for a second, Barbara Gordon is his Gwen Stacy, Coriander is his Mary Jane Watson.
I can definitely get that vibe. I get that.
But like I said, I'm not opposed to them ever getting back together for like a brief fling or something, which is what I feel like this is gonna be. I feel like it's just for Taylor's run there together.
Yeah. All right. Time for the fucking book.
All right, let's hear about the fucking book.
X-Men.
What do you think of Sex Criminals?
Not that fucking book. X-Men, the Trial of Magneto. Okay. And it's doing the scrolling thing again.
Oh, that's a fair criticism, honestly. Like, I would like Babs to have more agency, but like if we gave Babs her own book again, that'd just be bloating out the Bat books a lot. So like I don't know how you do that. I'm very into what Taylor has done right now with her being Oracle without being in the wheelchair because DC is weirdly phobic towards paraplegic characters, which is a whole issue in its own thing. Yeah. But anyways,
I mean, Marvel's not that much better because of what like Xavier's walking again right now.
Yeah.
So,
but at least with that, he gets a cool skin tight black costume.
Yeah, and a fancy hat.
So, what's the Master of Magnet up to?
Okay, so this is right after Hellfire Gala, where they killed Wanda Maximoff, and basically X Factor's like. They're casing the scene. They're figuring it all out. They're trying to figure everything out. Akihiro's like smelling. He's trying to smell where everything is, where the body was originally, where she got killed. And then you have not Phoenix. I can't remember her name. The other Summers kid. Not Hope. Rachel Summers uses her chrono. Rachel uses her chronal thing so she can go back in time and see what's going on. And they're also being shadowed by X-Force and the X-Men to just kind of like make sure everything's on the up and up. Because it's like, it's a big thing. An Avenger died on Krakoa. An Avenger died who a lot of mutants hate is on Krakoa. So there's a lot of tension here.
Yeah, is this technically a hate crime?
To kind of figure that out. Because they see her running away from something. And how they basically she got dragged into the bushes. She didn't die there. She got dragged over there to kind of hide her. And they're trying to figure out how did she die. Because she didn't die from any like poison or anything. And so iBoy is there and he's searching her up, and like him and Akihiro are both kind of like in two different places piecing it all together, because Akihiro's a smart dude. And they basically realize that there's like, it's all CSI. There's blood under the nails. Oh, she must have attacked her. It must have been her attacker. She was trying to defend herself. No, it was her blood. All that kind of stuff. And she was being bound by metal, unnatural things. It was metallic. Her hands were bound behind her back. She was clawing at the murder weapon around her neck. She was trying to get it out from around her neck because she was strangled to death. And they're all coming to this conclusion as we get to the council, and basically Magneto is throwing a fit. He's going like, fools! And like, because he basically is going like, okay, cool, we can resurrect my daughter. We can resurrect Wanda Maximoff, because her and Pietro are the only humans to still have a file on record. So technically we can revive her. And like, Professor Xavier goes like, yeah, but they're old, so there's going to be a lot of missing time. And also there's the fact that like, she's Wanda.
But she'll be a mutant now, Charles, and it'll all be good. Everybody will be fine with it.
And Mystique fucking pokes the bear and goes like, oh, you're really trying to get her resurrected, like, real soon. Almost like you're, like, covering your tracks, Eric. Like, going like, oh, did you kill her? Without saying it. And they goes like, you allowed multiple potential suspects within supernatural abilities to remain present at the time of her autopsy. Like, they could mess with the evidence. He's freaking the fuck out, because, like, the main prime suspect right now is Magneto. It's his daughter, who, even though, like, the idea in current comics is, like, they aren't real father and daughter, he still is like, nah, fuck it, you're my daughter. I am informally adopting you. So he is just, like, pissed. And he is in Magneto's solo run Nazi killer garb right now. Full black trench coat. He is pissed. He's not fucking about.
He's Bruce held up in the cave being pissy after Jason died.
And basically, they hold a vote for who wants to resurrect Wanda. And Nightcrawler and Kate vote yes. Because they're good people.
Yeah.
The rest of the council votes no.
Oof.
And basically, like, Xavier goes like, Eric, I'm very sorry for your loss, but we cannot resurrect the Scarlet Witch. You can, you simply refuse. You are all choosing to suddenly honor the same arbitrary human limitations we've long since abandoned by ourselves. As Magneto fucking starts crushing Xavier's helmet.
Yes!
And Nightcrawler, like, steps in between and goes like, stop. And Kate, hand in Magneto's head, goes, stand down or I'll peel the brainstem out of your fucking head.
Damn.
And Magneto's just going like, this is a choice you are making, and it is the wrong one. And we don't see Magneto's face. It is hidden in shadow behind his helmet.
So this is like Age of Apocalypse Magneto coming in here.
Yeah. And Professor Xavier is going like, yeah, it may be the wrong choice, but it's our mistake to make. Your behavior is beneath you. Storm just goes like, you forget yourself. You are not the most powerful mutant in the room anymore. Because it's Storm. She can kick his ass.
Yeah.
And they just go like, why we're not amicable to your bullying. Another hopeless Addendum human concept. Although I suppose even an anthill appears massive to Pietas small, I carve myself out of torture to stand tall upon the ruins of my subjugation. I made a choice. As fucking Northstar runs up on Magneto, goes like, yo, what's up, bitch? And, like, it's the X-Men, it's X-Force, it's X-Factor. They're all surrounding Magneto. He just sneers and goes like, oh, you think I killed her? And they just go like, we need you to come in. Basically questioning. Come with us now, Eric. And he goes, no. As he starts floating, I don't believe I will.
Oh my god, this fucking guy.
As Tommy is basically standing on top of Wanda's autopsy table, and because, remember, Tommy's his kid. Tommy is Scarlet Witch's kid. And his boyfriend, Prodigy, shows up and goes like, hey, I don't think you should be here alone, sweetie. And he goes like, no, something happened to the body, as it's covered in Krakoan vines. As vines start covering them, just growing out of the walls. And Prodigy's freaking out. All Tommy can think of is how Billy doesn't know. His brother is out in space and doesn't know their mom died.
Yeah.
As the Avengers are by an X-Men portal because flowers have sprouted on it, and it's Wanda's favorite flowers. As Professor Xavier walks through and tells the Avengers the news, Wasp, Captain America, Iron Man, and the Vision breaks down and cries. And basically, Magneto is fighting just all of these fuckers. So you have Wolverines flying at him, and he goes like, you never learn. Nah, I never gave a fuck what you did to me, Wolverine says. Now, them on the other hand, as Sync fucking fastball specials Akihiro up to Magneto, and Akihiro just whispers in his ear, no adamantium to manipulate, bitch. He doesn't say bitch, I added the bitch. As Wolverine just looks on like a proud dad and goes like, kids these days, huh? As Magneto then takes giant shards of metal and stabs it into Akihiro's back.
Oh.
Covering all of his back. As Northstar goes to catch him. And he's basically go like, oh, Sync, you're trying to out-magnet me? Show your power, bitch. And, like, everything calms down for a minute. Face me like a man. And then Polaris shows up and goes like, okay.
That was literally what I was thinking. I was about to ask, where the fuck is Lorna?
And Magneto just basically goes like, stop this. Daughter, fuck you. Stop this foolishness. You know you asked me once.
They do the scene from the Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Is that what you told Wanda? You know, you asked me once how I would describe your personality and assumed I had no answer when I was merely biting my tongue. I now believe it was an error on my part to spare your feelings on the cost of your grasp of reality. Because if you were to ask me again, I would tell you the truth you so desperately lack an understanding of, that you are unhinged, inconsiderate at your best, as he throws magnets at her. And Polaris basically goes, how many women is it now that you've once claimed to love, who all perished during your brief window of affection? You leave a trail of dead wives and dead daughters behind you.
Yes, Queen. Yeah.
You tried to break me too, tried to rearrange the pieces of me into your perfect daughter, but you failed. Your efforts backfired and you only made me stronger. As all of a sudden, Magneto disappears from the air, and his helmet's on the ground. As Cyclops asks, where did he go? as we just see Magneto being punched to fucking death as Northstar tackles Quicksilver to the ground. And Quicksilver's just going like, I knew it would be you, Magneto. I knew you would have killed her. You always talked about doing it.
Oh, shit.
And they go like, oh, quick, we need to get Magneto to the healing grounds. She was only ever broken in your eyes, Magneto, but she was unwell. My sister, she was a very sick woman. She just needed help. Some fucking compassion for once, as Northstar hugs him and goes like, I know, it's my job to protect her, and I failed. How could I fail? Quicksilver's fucking crying. Inconsolable. As, like, they are now, like, treating Magneto for his wounds. Jean Grey's trying to get into his mind so they can see if he actually did it or not. But Magneto is so grief-stricken, she can't penetrate his mind. Grief-stricken and anger-stricken. As we go to the Green Lagoon, as Quicksilver lines up to the bar and looks at Blob and Toad and asks for a drink. As they all get a drink and toast to Wanda. As Toad just goes like, it's not fair, he throws a glass. And then Quicksilver just goes to Wanda, may her weary, troubled soul finally be at peace. As we see images of Wanda waking up, blood covered, a sword being stabbed into her white clothes being dyed red of her normal costume, as she looks forward and says, see you next round. As Wanda just is like talking, it's like monologuing over the Quicksilver scene. It's like, I am the Scarlet Witch, and I am intimately acquainted with grief. Every single person I have ever harmed, I grieve for them all. I ache for what has been lost. What I have caused. I am a tempest of anguish, and now I grieve for myself because I was killed. I died, and yet I know I am not dead. As we get one final thing, where am I? That's the end of the issue.
Very interesting.
What the fuck?
It's probably the best I've seen a death handled in comics in a while. Certainly a glow up for how X-Men have handled death in recent years. Like, remember when Nightcrawler was dead for like 5 seconds in the early 2010s?
But yo, Trial of Magneto so far, so fucking good. But that's all the comics we've read this week.
It's Hickman writing that, right?
No, I think it's someone else. Hold on. God, fuck me, right? I think it's the writer of X Factor.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Let me double check first. Williams. It is, yeah, Leah Williams.
Okay. Yeah, she's pretty good.
Yeah. No, it's like every line hit fucking hard, man. But yeah, no, that's the comics we read this week. Do we think we have anything else to really say before we kind of wrap it up, bud?
I mean, let me say it for them because they couldn't be here for the whole show to say it. Everybody check out Buster Core's content by searching up Buster Core on YouTube or following them at Buster Bluey Free on Twitter.
Alrighty. Why don't you tell the people where they can find you?
Hey everybody, I'm the Vacuuminator. I'm at youtube.com/thevacuuminator. Spell it THEVACUUMINATOR. We're going through kind of a bit of a flux in terms of creative ideas over there at the moment. I'll explain all of that in due time. But you can go and check out what is there for right now. There might be a little bit more than there is today there by the end of tomorrow, and that's all I'll say about that for now, because that might also end up happening later in the week. But for right now, yeah, just go check out my content and follow me on Twitter at the Vacuuminator, and follow me on Instagram at _Vacuuminator for daily action figure photography.
Alrighty, hey, howdy, I'm Chris Pointer, Raptor Gaston. I make a variety of content. You can find my video essays and editorial content on my YouTube channel at Boingo Writer. You know how YouTube works. I am on Twitter and I am on Instagram at Boingo_Writer. And I have several projects in the works. You'll find out about them ASAP. But in the meantime, this has been a product of Modular Media. We have other podcasts. We have a wrestling podcast called MMWP. We have a Toku podcast called Twit. We have a Fuck Around and Hang Out podcast called Components. If you want to support us, like, comment, subscribe. And if you're listening to this anywhere else, hey, follow us there. Do you have any final words?
I believe in Tom Taylor's supremacy.
Enough said.